topics, and so the first presentation is going to be upon the 5 topics of the Gita.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So today I'll be talking about the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So we're going to first discuss the 5 topics of the Bhagavad Gita. So the first topic is Jiva, the soul. So in the Bhagavad Gita, a very important question is asked: who are you? So the answer is, you are the eternal soul and not this body. Like a driver in a car, you are the conscious observer within. So this means to say that our body is nothing if the soul is not in there. So the soul is like, you say you have a good car, and if it's like there's no driver in it, then it's of no use. So the body changes, but you remain unchanged. So like for example, if we take the example of a car, like say if someone is driving a really nice BMW and he changes to a Mercedes, so the car in that case has changed. It's not the driver who has changed. The driver remains the same in this. So the other topic is Ishvara. Ishvara, the super soul, Paramatma, the constant companion. God is not distance. He is Paramatma within the heart. So this means to say that God is residing in our heart as Paramatma. He observes all our actions and thoughts. You have a friend within who is always waiting for you. So God in our heart is watching everything, all the actions we do, all the thoughts we think about. So He is just observing in this case. So number 3 and 4, nature and action. So nature is the cosmic canvas. Prakriti is nature, mountains, oceans, and your body. It is the combination of soul and matter. You are the driver and Prakriti is the vehicle. So you can simply put Prakriti in this way, that this world is a temporary matter. Everything from the mountains and oceans to the clothes we wear, and yes, our own physical bodies. Prakriti is governed by the 3 gunas or modes of nature. That is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamagun. These modes are the ropes that bind the jiva to this world, coloring our minds and conditioning our perceptions. So, topic 4, which is action. This is your universal bank account. Every action has a reaction. So, this is like Newton's law, which says every action has a reaction. So, it basically applies to this. We reap results of past deeds. So, in the previous births, we may have done some sins, some sinful activities. So, in this birth, we suffer them.
Okay, so sorry for the interruption. We were in action, which is karma. So,
Just take 1 minute. You won't be repeating. 1 minute.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. So we were in action. So we have discussed in action that every action has a reaction. So whatever action we do, we get an equal and opposite reaction for that. And also we reap the results of past deeds. So as I said earlier, that the deeds, the past deeds we did in our past lives, if we did any sinful activities or anything, we suffer them in this life. That is how it is. We create our future through present actions. So the actions we do in this life will determine the future ahead for us. Whether we are going to get out of this material world and go back to the spiritual world, or we are going to go again back to the cycle of birth and death. So this topic is time, which is called Kal. This is the unstoppable force. This is the cosmic engine that moves the universe. No one can escape its power and transforms seasons, ages, bodies, and dissolves empires. So time it's a very important topic, as this shows that nothing can escape time. So.
okay. Sorry, I'll just try and be a bit more audible. So here, it says time is the equalizer. As the Gita eloquently states, time is the great engine that devours everything. It cycles the seasons. It ages civilizations, and it inevitably brings about the end of every material body. Understanding Kal is critical because it highlights the urgency of spiritual life. Since everything in the material sphere, our achievements, our wealth, our bodies, is subject to a relentless force of time, we must utilize our time wisely to focus on the eternal truth of the soul. So this means to say that time is very important. We have to give time for spirituality, because this material world.
Hare Krishna. So we have to give more time to spirituality. In this material world, we don't have that much time. Like if you just see our daily routine, what are we doing? If I take the example of students are just going from home to school, college, back to home. So, everything is basically on a material aspect. There is no spiritual aspect involved in this, which is not so good. We should try and involve spirituality. We should try.
What is happening is phase has little power. So the generator is confused whether to remain on or off. I just want you to pull out the fuse. So, Prabhu, Krishna is testing you with the voice.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Sure, no problem. Sorry, I'll try to be more audible. Now, can't really rely on power. Yeah, so what I was saying that in this material world, we have very limited time. everything that we are doing, everything that people are doing is all on a material aspect. Like as example, as I said, like the example I gave, so it's about students. They go from home to college or schools and then back to home. And also for working people, they go from home to office, and that's it. So it is very important that we make time for spirituality. We have to understand that we have to understand the truth, and we have to also understand that also this body is not permanent. It is temporary. With time, you can see a newborn baby grows from newborn to boyhood, and then to teenage, adulthood, old age, and then he dies. But he has basically done nothing in spirituality.
This is the factor I'm trying to emphasize on. So time is very important here. Time also, no matter how big, empires we have or anything, so, nothing remains permanent in this world. Time is such thing that even the biggest empires collapse. Nothing remains permanent. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So can I get a bigger round of applause for It's also the first time presenting, so please let us be more encouraging to them. It takes a lot of courage to come up here and speak in front of so many people, yeah? Okay, so just to really summarize what it is that we all have heard of WH questions. Who, what, where, why, how. So the 5 topics of the Gita literally ask 5 different questions. Number 1, who am I? That's the first thing we need to know. That is the Jiva. We are the Jiva. Second is where am I? That's where is Earth. Earth is in which this Milky Way? We are somewhere in the universe. What is the universe? So that's Prakriti. 3, what am I doing here? I'm doing activities. I'm going to school. I'm going to work. I'm doing so many different things. So those are called karma. Question is, how long have I been doing it for? Okay, Kal. Kal, which is time. Since time immemorial, we have been doing this same thing. And finally, is there anything more than this? That is Ishvara. The yes, there is. Beyond these 4 things, there is Ishvara. And the whole point of life is to understand all of these 5 things and then connect to Ishvara. The only reason why we don't think about this last aspect is because we are very happy in being here in this world. We think that this world where I am is a permanent home, and that if I keep on doing activities here, I will try to get more and more happiness here. But all of this is because we have made a mistake on the first point. We mistake ourselves saying that, oh, I am not the Jiva, but I am actually the body. We think of ourselves as the body. They try to get happiness through the body by doing activities at this place. But this is as very nicely say that the force of time, the force of time is so strong that it is always frustrating our plans. No matter how much money you will make, at the end of the life, everything is going to go away. So that is the force of time. The force of time is meant to allow you to reorientate this one question, to understand who am I truly. And this is what the Gita starts off with. The Gita starts off with understanding who am I. Okay? So before we even get to this, we must understand that we are suffering in this world. There are so many types of suffering. There is relative suffering and there is permanent suffering or absolute suffering. Like I have a different set of suffering than you would have. But there is some some suffering that I have, that is common between both of us. And what is that? It is known by the acronym BOBY. So, anyone who has got a body will undergo these four common fundamental problems of life. B stands for birth, O stands for old age, D stands for disease, and Y stands for Yavraj, meaning death. Okay? So anyone who has got a body will of course go through these four fundamental problems of life. Until we realize that we need to make an attempt to solving this, until that time we will not be starting our spiritual journey. And so this is the problem. Now we think we are the body, and we have the problems of the body. And Krishna begins the Gita by distinguishing ourselves from the body. So now can I please call upon the group that is going to now discuss the qualities of the soul. Very good. And please give a big round of applause to them. We encourage them to come on.
Wait, I've got one more.
Hare Krishna. This book is presenting about the opulences of the soul. It consists of Nitya, Vrinda, and myself.
Come this side, all of you.
Okay, so now that we're discussing about the qualities of the soul, to understand the word soul, we would use this example. I believe we all watch movies, right? So imagine this. You're watching a movie and there's some characters on the screen. The characters carry out some actions such as crying, laughing, or maybe fighting. However, whatever action they carry out, this does not affect the screen itself. So, through this, we can know that the screen and the action that's being presented upon it are two different things. And the Bhagavad Gita explains this, saying that the soul is the eternal screen, and then the actions of the people, which are the movies that are being played out on the screen. So these do not correlate to each other. They do not, the actions of the characters do not affect the screen. So now that we know this, let's get into the first quality, which is that the soul is eternal. So, the soul is eternal, which is also known as Nitya. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 20, it says, Na jaya dendriya deva kadachin. Srila Prabhupada explains this as that the verse shows that the soul does not take birth, nor does it die. The body simply changes and eventually perishes. However, the soul remains untouched. Just like changing clothes, the way we put off our new clothes and then take off our older ones. Similarly, the soul just changes from body to body, but it remains constant. This can be explained through the example of a SIM card. As our phone gets damaged, we cannot throw away the SIM. We basically replace the phone and then we keep the SIM as constant. We just add in the one SIM into the new phone. Similarly, the soul just changes the body.
Just hold it in your left foot.
Hare Krishna. So before I start, I will need some quick participation of all change soul does not mean that we bring a new one, bringing new softwares, like new SIM cards. Our accounts remains the same. It's the fact that we change the phone does not mean that we are changing our numbers, we are changing our account, and etc. So the point to understand here is simple thing. Similarly, our soul and our body are two different things. We changing our phone does not mean that we are changing the software inside this. The software and the soul are two different things to understand. Similarly, our body changes, so does our soul do. But our soul is the permanent thing which we are changing, but not the soul. The body and soul are two different things. The second point to understand is the soul is eternal. Here we are seeing the meaning of electric bulbs. Does not mean that if the bulb gets broken, the electricity gets disappeared. The electricity is something which is permanent. We keep the bulb to make it glow. Our soul is simply as electricity. It does not destroy. It's the bulb, our body, which keeps on changing as it gets used. Soul changes body like we change clothes. Now, I am wearing dhoti and kurta. Tomorrow I will be wearing something else. This does not change my identity as Nityam. I am Nityam. I just changed the cloth to change my look. Does not mean I change myself as Nityam. The same thing the soul does. Soul just changes its body. It does not mean the soul becomes the body. I don't become the cloth. Similarly, the soul does not become the body. It's a simple thing to understand through this example. This slope says, Vasam Sijiryani Yatha Vidavaya Navani Girnati Naroparani. Just like we changing the clothes, similarly the soul changes the body.
The soul is full of knowledge, Gnan. Krishna also states that Avas Avinashi Tad Vidhi Yena Sarvam Vidam Yatam. The soul is full of knowledge, Gnan. Avinashi Tad Vidhi Yena Sarvam Vidam Yatam. Prabhupada says this means the soul spreads consciousness through the body. Thinking, feeling, and awareness all comes from the soul. Even when ignorance covers the knowledge, it is never lost. Hearing and chanting about Krishna creates the coverings like polishing dust mirror. Number 2. The soul is full of bliss, Ananda. The soul is full of bliss, Ananda. Mamaiva Mamsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. This verse shows that we are eternal parts of Krishna. Prabhupada explains, because Krishna is full of bliss, the soul naturally carries spiritual happiness. Material nature fades, but the bliss of connectivity with Krishna through devotion is stable and satisfying, because it is the soul's own nature. Number 3. The soul has the opulence of service, seva. Krishna explains, Bhaktiya Mam Abhijanatu. One truly understands me through devotion. This verse reveals that the soul naturally expresses love and devotion. Do not take seva as slavery. It is just a way of expression of the soul. It's the expression of love towards Krishna. When the soul acts in the spirit of service, kindness, compassion, dedication, it experiences fulfillment. Service is not force, it is an expression of the soul's inner nature. When the soul connects to the divine through devotion, meditation, and sincere actions, its original purity awakens. Service is when the soul feels fulfillment. It cannot get fulfillment from material enjoyment, and this is what Seva is trying to put through. And now that you understand about the opulences of the soul, we have decided to think of a small test, so we would like all of you to participate in this questionnaire. What does the Gita say about the soul? Please raise your hand It's correct. The soul spreads both throughout the body. Blood. Anyone? Consciousness. Correct. What is the soul naturally full of? It's bliss. See. Why can the soul be destroyed? Because it's spiritual and nature. Why is material happiness temporary? That's right.
Guys, come on.
It depends on outside conditions.
Very good. And what is the natural expression of the soul's love? This one is easy.
I'm getting the same.
Service. Haribo. That brings us to the end of our presentation. I hope you learned something from this. Thank you, Shah.
I'm not hearing enough applause. Well, Gita, Ashi, and Nitya. It's a very nice explanation about what is the characteristic of the soul. So, in one word, it's called Sat Chit Ananda. Sat meaning it is eternal. Chit meaning it is full of knowledge and is conscious. And Ananda is always seeking bliss. How many of you here are always seeking happiness? How many of you only want problems? You want problems? Okay, let's just go run around the place 3 times. Come on. Problems. Okay, so yes, so the soul wants happiness at every single stage. We cannot do without happiness. And the true happiness only comes from doing seva. When you are able to serve somebody else and get service in return, that is the highest form of pleasure that we can get in this world. Imagine if you have all the money in the world and you are thrown into an island. You've got all the amenities, but there's no human connection whatsoever. How long will you be able to survive there? Anyone? 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, or less than 1 day. So, point is that we are not able to live without human connection. We are not able to live without giving service. We render service to every single person, or even a pet. Yes? So, now we are going to go on. So, we discussed the first aspect called Jiva. That is, who am I? Now we go to where am I? Now we are going to understand the 3 modes of material nature. Alright? So let's welcome Ram and Shah.
Screen off screen off करना
Hare Krishna everyone. So Sam and I are going to be doing a lesson promotion about the 3 modes of material nature. The title of my presentation is Why We Do What We Do, the 3 Invisible Forces of Life. Today, we're going to be talking about the three modes of material nature. Have you ever felt like you're not really in charge of your own mood? 1 minute, you're super motivated and everything is going right. The next, you're glued to the couch, just scrolling on your phone or watching a football match, knowing you should be doing something else. And the next minute after that, you're totally stressed, chasing a deadline for work and ready to snap at anyone who looks at you wrong.
It feels like we're driven by random chance, but the Bhagavad Gita gives us the playbook. It says every single thing we do, feel, and think is controlled by three invisible forces. These are the modes of material nature, or the gunas: Satagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. They are the world's most powerful influences, shaping our reality from inside out.
Okay, to make this a bit easier, imagine them like the three different settings on your phone's camera filter. You're always stuck on one of the three. We're going to show you what each filter looks like and how to break free. Firstly, let's start with Satagun, the clarity filter, the mode of goodness. This is your flow state. When the mode of Satagun is high, the world is sharp, balanced, and calm. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 6, the translation is, O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge.
When Satagun is running the show, you feel peaceful and focused. You automatically choose the healthy salad over pizza. You want to study, meditate, or help someone just because it feels right, not for a reward. You're clean, polite, and forgiving.
Satagun feels great because it's the highest mode. And here's the mind-blowing part. Krishna says, even this is bondage. For example, to make it easier, this mode is also considered as having golden shackles on. They're beautiful, they're comfortable, but they're still handcuffs. They still trap me. It keeps us in this material world. It binds us through pride in our goodness. You start thinking, I'm so calm, I'm so knowledgeable, I'm better than those stressed people. That attachment of being the good guy, the happy one, keeps you hooked to this temporary material world. It's like being trapped in the world's most luxurious hotel. Although it's very expensive and enjoyable, it's still a trap no matter what. Next, we put on the Rajagun filter, the mode of passion. This is the hustle filter. When this is on, everything is about more. More work, more money, more likes, more followers, more noise, more drama. Everything revolves around more. Rajagun is pure ambition and restlessness. It's the constant feeling of, I need to go faster. Think about that feeling before a big exam or a major presentation. That drive is Rajagun, but Raja is a harsh master.
Bhagavad Gita 14.7. The translation is, the mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. When Rajagun is in control, you are constantly chasing results. You are consumed by desire, ambition, and greed. You worry, you stress, you can't sit still. You eat that spicy food or stay up late, feeling like sleep is wasting time. Who here eats so much spice?
No one here eats spicy food. I'm surprised. Wow. So none of you are Rajagun. Very good. Clap for yourselves. Rajagun binds you because it makes you obsessed with the outcome, with the result, with the fruit. You only work to get the grade, the money, or the grace. You never just enjoy the process or the journey. Since the result is never guaranteed and never truly satisfying, the Gita says the result of Rajaguna is misery and deep dissatisfaction. It's the ultimate treadmill. You run faster and faster and even more faster, but you never actually go anywhere.
Now, for the last filter, Tamagu, the mode of ignorance. This is the brain fog filter. It makes everything dull, heavy, and blurry.
In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 8, it says in the translation, O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul.
When Tamagu dominates, you feel completely stuck and unmotivated. We call it a slump. Your intelligence shuts down and you procrastinate everything important. You choose destructive habits like binge watching all night, sleeping half the day, or eating stale junk food. This mood leads to anger, delusion, and violence.
Tamagun is a pure waste. It binds you to laziness and delusion. You know you shouldn't be scrolling on your phone for hours, but you feel heavy and paralyzed, so you continue doing it. You lose track of what matters. Krishna says Tamagun leads straight to confusion and senseless action. It's the worst mode because it actually covers your ability to choose a better path for spirituality. So now, we have clarity, hustle, and brain fog filters. These modes are always mixing inside of us, fighting for control, trying to take over our minds. But here is the most important lesson from the Bhagavad Gita, as my fellow devotees have said. You're not the filters, you are the soul, the eternal person looking through them. The ultimate goal isn't to be super sattvic. No, the goal is to transcend all of these three modes of material nature, to take the filters completely off the camera and to see the pure reality.
And Krishna gives us a simple yet profound way to do it. He says, Bhagavad Gita 14:26, one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends in the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
By making a conscious effort to connect with Krishna, through chanting of the holy names, listening and reading from the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, serving prasadam, coming to the temple regularly like all of you have done here, engaging in congregational chanting, kirtan, distributing books of Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita. Today is the Gita Jayanti, so all of you should be able to distribute at least one Gita to anybody in the world. And following the path of Bhakti Yoga, which is loving devotion to Krishna, we step off this material roller coaster, this horrible world, leaving the filters behind and realize our true constitutional position, which is to serve the Supreme Lord. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
And fun fact, Krishna, this is so important that Krishna said a whole chapter about this.
Chapter 14. The modes of material nature. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I think that deserves a very, very, very large applause. Very well. So, as was mentioned, the three modes of material nature is what makes up every single thing in reality. Krishna says that this is my energy. It's through the three modes of material nature that everything comes about. Everything, all our makeup, our internal being, as well as externally, everything is influenced by these three things. And we are always moving between these three. Just like we have the three main colors, red, blue and yellow. So when you mix these three colors, you will get the entire spectrum of colors. Similarly, when these three modes they move in their own different permutations, you get the entire spectrum of reality. Okay? So this is what the three modes of material nature do, and they affect. Because they affect reality, they are the ones that create reality, and we are the ones acting in reality. So even our activities are contaminated by the modes. So now we have to understand that if we are contaminated by the modes, and the modes control everything, then even our activities are contaminated. But even in that situation, there is certain activities that you can do to purify yourself and transcend the three modes. The example is given is just like imagine you have got mud. What is mud? Can somebody tell me what is mud? It's what? What? It's dirt and water mixed together, not outdoors. A small body of place. Now, if you got mud on your t-shirt, how are you supposed to clean it? With what? With water. Oh, water is the thing that caused the mud in the first place. So, we need to also utilize water to remove the mud. Because the mud is created by the contamination of dirt and water. So, understanding what kind of activities we need to perform to transcend the three modes is our next topic. So can I please welcome Mr. Prabhu and Devi Mataji to come and explain the different types of activities that we need to perform and not perform to be able to transcend the three modes. Hare Krishna. Please welcome us with a round with a big round of applause.
The kind of effort the children have put, I think I will they have really set the standard. Okay, so we're going to talk about three important words, topics that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Quite confusing, so I'll try my best to explain it in the most simplest of ways. Hare Krishna. Today we will discuss these essential concepts explained in the Bhagavad Gita called karma, akarma, and vikarma. Srila Prabhupada explains that without understanding these three, human life becomes confused. But with proper understanding, one can attain perfection. These terms appear prominently in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 4, 16 to 18, where Lord Krishna says, the subject of action and inaction is very difficult to understand and must be learned through disciplined succession. So the first topic, karma. Action according to scriptural principles. So, let's break it down. It's action, work, according to the scriptures. What is being told by God, what has been prescribed by God. Karma means prescribed work. Actions performed according to Vedic injunctions. Srila Prabhupada explains, karma is work done for purification, according to one's duty, swadharma, without violating the laws of nature. Examples of karma include a teacher teaching with responsibility, a business person earning honestly, a parent caring for family. Prescribed karma leads to gradual elevation, purification, and eventual liberation when offered to Krishna. So what's the result of all the good karma? Good results. You get punya or spiritual credit. This translates to good life, wealth, health, respect, and maybe even a first-class ticket to heavenly planet in the next life. Sounds great, right? I mean, that's what you're working for. Money, wealth, family, children, good wife, big car, big house, and all of us want to go to Swarga. I mean, most people understand that. Apre, Swarga jaana chahiye. So what's the catch? The catch is that it's temporary. So let's try and understand this a little bit more. I was very confused about this when I joined Iskcon, and it completely opened my eyes. So let me try to put it in a simple analogy. Think of good karma like a divine credit card. Credit card, okay? You do good deeds and you rack up reward points. So the money has built up, the credit card has built credit. You can cash in on those points for a fantastic vacation in heaven. But eventually, your points run out. And then what happens? Come right back where you started, needing to earn more points. We have been doing this, Prabhupada says, since time immemorial. We've been going up, down, on earthly planet, again to heaven, again to hell, and we have been just rotating. So something needs to change, something needs to stop.
Sorry guys, we are not as prepared as my colleagues. So we speak of another term. It's called karma. Okay? So if karma is following the rules, karma is intentionally breaking. So this is forbidden action. Any action which is driven by greed, uncontrolled anger, lust, envy, is cheating, stealing, lying, needlessly hurting others. It's the buy now, pay later of spirituality. You get a moment of selfish pleasure, but the bill will always be due. Srila Prabhupada explains, these actions cause suffering, they create heavy karmic reactions, and they lead to lower births and increased bondage. The best example of these is our core principles which they teach us in Iskcon. No meat eating, no intoxication like alcohol, no illicit relations, and no gambling. The result of the karma is pap, or we know sin. This isn't about an angry God punishing you. It's just simple cause and effect. If you plant a seed, if you plant thorns, you can't expect to harvest roses. Karma is like digging yourself into karmic debt. It leads to suffering, misery, and a downward spiral, both in this life and the next. It's literally the setting on your car GPS that leads you straight off a cliff.
Okay, so we've understood two things now. So we understood the binding, karma, even if it's good, punya, okay, badane khawanu deo, feed the poor, give housing, school education, all of that is good, fine, humanitarian grounds. But there is something missing here. That is a fact that most of us don't understand. So I go to akarma. Akarma, action that produces no reaction. So you talk about karma, reaction. Vikarma, really bad reaction, downward pride. You're going to leave the human species to go into lower birds. Definition. Karma is the most misunderstood term. It does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean doing nothing. Doing nothing is a sin. It's clearly mentioned by Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Doing no work is a sin. So Srila Prabhupada explains that akarma means action that produces no material reaction. This is explained in 4.18. Akarma leads to liberation and pure devotion. Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that devotional service, bhakti yoga, is the platform of akarma. So, what is bhakti yoga? It's doing the same tasks, but now it's done for Krishna's pleasure, not our pleasure. I'll give you a very simple example, okay, which all of us do. Cooking. You cook a meal. Okay, so let's break it down into karma, vikarma, and akarma. I'll start with vikarma. So vikarma is very simple. You're cooking non-veg food. You're going against the laws of nature. You're not a god. You're not supposed to consume it. The Vedic scriptures don't promote that. You're not supposed to eat that. That's good. So, karmic sin, you're going to go into lower birds. Very simple. Karma. Now you are cooking, yes. But you're cooking for yourself, for your own senses, for your own sense gratification, for your own enjoyment. Karma. Going down. Even if you cook vegetarian food, that is still bringing reaction. Now bring that to akarma. Now in this, you're cooking Krishna's satisfaction. Think about it. In your house, you're cooking both Krishna. Number one, you do it for his enjoyment. Number two, also straight away regulates you. You're not going to cook non-veg for Krishna. You're not going to feed Krishna wine. Right? You're not going to give him onion and garlic. So, when you cook for Krishna, automatically you are going to get purified. Now that work, you do the absolute best, but you are not attached to the praise or the profit. You do it purely as an act of devotion. That action done in service and with love creates no reaction. And that's the catch. That's what we need to understand. We need to start putting Krishna in the center of our life.
So how can we practically turn karma into akarma? According to Srila Prabhupada, we can spiritualize our life by adopting simple steps. We chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This cleanses the heart and makes our intentions clear. We offer food to Krishna, making it prasadam, freeing us from all those sinful reactions. We perform duties, but dedicate the results to Krishna. Whatever we do, business, teaching, caring, serving, we offer it to Him first. We live by the scriptural principles to avoid vikarma. And, most important, we associate with devotees and read the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to stay aligned with akarma-based reactions. Hare Krishna.
Come on guys, I know you're hungry, but you can still do better than that. Very nicely explaining the three types of karma: noble karma, vikarma, and akarma. So the defining quality that akarma is a certain type of action that is now centered on who? On Krishna, on the Lord. And when you are doing activities for the Lord, you are already beyond the three modes, beyond the influence of the three modes. These are known as transcendental activities. And this is what is known as yoga. Yoga means to connect. To connect to who? To Krishna. So you can do karma. When you do karma yoga, then you are on a spiritual platform. You are on a transcendental platform. You can love somebody, you can have devotion and worship somebody. But when that is transferred to Krishna, that becomes bhakti yoga. Okay? So like that, now we are going to understand who is Krishna. Who is that person that we need to connect to? So now I would like to welcome Harsh Prabhu and Trevor Prabhu to explain the differences between who we are and who the Lord is. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
To wait for the presentation to start, I would like to ask everyone something. How, in this body, what do you think, how many souls are there in this body? Can you answer? One? None? Are we even souls?
Yes, yes, sir.
How many souls are there? Come on. Huh? One? Five? Anyone else? Two, yes. There are two souls in this body. Most of you might not even know that there are two souls. Most of you might not even know that there are two souls in this body. Actually, there are two souls. One is our individual identity. The second one is Paramatma. Paramatma is Krishna's localized aspect, which is in our body. We're going to speak about the soul and the super soul. Okay, so the soul is eternal in nature. So as we know, the soul is indestructible. The soul remains impervious to physical destruction, being eternal and unchanged regardless of the body's condition or experiences. As you see, the body transitions from childhood to youth to old age. Our soul similarly passes into another body of death. So when we die, we leave this old body and we take a new one. So as Krishna also said, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these things, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. That means we are eternal. We are there since time immemorial. We are always here. This material body is short to come to an end. We will leave this body at some point. And the size of the soul. What do you think is the size of the soul? Can anyone know what the size of the soul is? Like this? Has anyone seen the soul? So, the size of the soul is 1/10,000. Size of the hair tip. That's how small it is. Even the scientists have not been able to see what the soul is or even find out. That's how small it is.
Hare Krishna. So I'll carry on from there. So we have this shloka in Bhagavad Gita. Two souls in one body illustrate the coexistence. The individual soul and the super soul. But the jiva experiences life changes. The Paramatma remains a silent observer, indicating profound spiritual support in our lives. So, I'll give a good analogy. I know most of you play games. Like the Roblox, we have the PUBG, we have the Call of Duty, and in those games, there is an actual character in the game, and then there is the player. So the character in the game is our souls, yeah? So the soul is the character in the game which the Lord, as us who plays the game, instruct the characters in what to do, yeah? So basically, what the Lord does is that He instructs us. He doesn't like control us. He observes how we play. It's like how we watch from the phone, how the character is moving, how the character is behaving in the game. And from there, the Lord guides us on the right proportions and the right decisions to make. That's the Lord's part. But you also have to turn on to the Lord for that to can guide us. Yeah? And then the second text, we say it is 15:15. The super soul resides in everyone's heart. What does he do? He gives us remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The soul can only desire, but the super soul witness and sanctions our actions. So I'll give another analogy to begin. So how long do you